Today we are going to work on lesson number 5 and 6, which is solving equations that involves fractions. Okay, now our goal is to get rid of the fraction by finding the lowest common denominator. Okay, so let's try example 1a. So if you take a look at example 1a, I noticed that, okay, we don't have a fraction equal fraction. So therefore, I'm going to find the lowest common denominator. In this case, it's going to be 4. So 4 goes into 4 and 2 goes into 4. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4. Okay. And I don't like this mixed fraction. So I'm going to change this 2 and 1 over 2x by putting it into improper. So 2 times 2 plus 1 is 5 over 2x. So this is 5 over 2x. So let's start. So 4 divided by 4 is just 1 times 3x. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And then 4 divided by 2, right? Divided by 2 is 2 times whatever it's in the numerator, 5x. So therefore, 1 times 3x is 3x. And then now I'm going to collect the like terms. So I'm going to bring x to the left side and a number on the right side. So it's like 3x. Positive 10 now becomes negative 10x equals negative 28 becomes positive 28. So therefore, now whatever it's in front of x, we're going to divide completely by that number. So negative 7 is in front of x. So when I divide it, x is equal to negative 4. Okay. Now, what if you were given a fraction equals a fraction? So what you need to do, this is actually more easy. We're going to cross multiply. So that means it's going to be 3 times, don't forget the bracket, 4 times this. And after that, you can get rid of the brackets by doing distributive property. So it'll be 3y minus 15, 8y plus 28. Now let's collect the like terms. So I'm going to bring variable to the left side, and I'm going to bring a number to the right side. So every time you cross over, you are switching the sign. So 3y minus 8y. So 28 is already here, and it becomes 15. So negative 5y equals 43. So let's divide both sides by negative 5, whatever in front of a variable. So it cancels out. So y is equal to, I'm going to leave it in a fraction, exact answer, because I don't want a decimal. Okay. Now, what about letter D? So if you take a look at letter D, we first need to simplify by doing distributive property. So 2 times x, so do the numerator, so 2x over 3 plus 4 over 3 minus 5 times x, 5x over 6. Negative negative becomes positive, so 10 over 6 equals 3. Now, it looks like we have a like term here. X is here, and we have a number and a number here on the left side. And it looks like I have a number on the right side. So what I'm going to do before I do anything, I'm going to collect the like terms, and let's get rid of the denominator by finding the lowest common denominator, which is 6. So I'm multiplying everything by 6. Okay, everything. So what I'm going to do, 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 2x. 6 divided by 3, again, is 2 times 4. 6 divided by 6 is 1 times 5x. And 6 divided by 6 is again 1 times 10. And there's no fraction here, so it is 6 times 3, 18. So I'm going to simplify. And then collect like terms. So 4x minus 5x is going to give me negative x. And positive 8 plus 10, positive 18 equals 18. Now I'm going to bring positive 18 to the other side, so negative x. So 18 minus 18 will become 0. So therefore, x is going to be 0 because we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. So 0 divided by any number is just 0. Okay, good. So you're going to do same thing for number 2. So you could do solve, first of all, by finding the lowest common denominator. In this case, it will be 6. So if you do get stuck, all you need to do is just multiply the denominator, 2 times 3, to get the common denominator. And when you're checking, don't forget to make a left side equals right side. And so that the left side is m plus 3 over 2 minus 4. And 4 minus m over 3 plus 7. Okay, so we're plugging in. Okay. So let's try finding the lowest common. So we did find 6. So I'm going to multiply everything by 6. So when I do this, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then don't forget bracket whatever it's in the numerator, m plus 3. And then 6 times 4 is negative 24. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times whatever it's in the numerator plus 42 because there's no fraction. After that, let's do a distributive property to get rid of the brackets. 3m plus 9 Okay, now I'm going to simplify by doing this together, and 8 plus 42. They are the like terms. And after that, now that I simplified on the left side and the right side, I'm going to bring m to the left side and number to the right side. So I now have on the left side 3m plus 2m and 50 plus 15. So I have 5m equals 65, and divide both sides by whatever it's in front of m. So m is equal to 13. Well, we need to double check if this is if this is true. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in m as 13, so 13 plus 3 over 2 minus 4, which is 16 over 2 minus 4. It gives me 4 on the left side. So let's double check if I get 4 on the right side. So 4 minus 13. So 4 minus 13 is negative 9, which is negative 3. And there you go. We have left side equals right side. So make sure you finish the check by saying left side is equal to the right side. Okay. Number 3 is showing you how to convert Fahrenheit temperature to a Celsius temperature using this formula. Okay. This is a standard formula that you will use. So for example, if we were to do, let's say, letter A, we are given the Fahrenheit. So we're going to use this formula. C is equal to 5/9. So instead of writing F, I'm plugging in 95 minus 32. So you do your math using your calculator, which is 63. And then you're going to do 5 times 63 divided by 9. You will get 35. So what does that mean? So 95 Fahrenheit is equal to 35 Celsius. Okay. And then, so you will do same thing for letter B, but this time they give you 20 degrees Celsius. So I'm going to plug in 20 equals 5/9 Fahrenheit minus 32. So essentially what you're doing is you're solving for F. So as a hint, I would recommend that you distribute property and then collect the like terms. Okay, so try it out and you will notice that the Fahrenheit is equal to 68. Okay. Okay, now let's take a look at number 4. It says write an equation in terms of one variable to model this situation. So 1/2 of a certain even integer plus 1/5 of the next consecutive even integer equals 48. The question is, find the two integers. So we could represent, let's say, integer. So let's say let I represent a certain even integer, and then the next consecutive even integer, well, we know that consecutive even means that they are always increasing by 2. So if it was 2, 4, 6, we are always adding up 2. This is consecutive even. So the next consecutive even will be I plus 2. So using this, let's start 1/2 of a certain even integer. So 1/2 of a even integer plus 1/5 of the next consecutive, which is I plus 2, is equal to 48. Okay. So now that we have the equation, all we need to do is solve for I. So I don't have to do distributive property here, but here I do. So let's distribute. So 1/2I plus 1/5I plus 2/5 is equal to 48. So we don't really like fraction here. So let's find our lowest common denominator. 2 times 5, which is 10. So I'm going to multiply every term, all the term by 10. So after you multiply, again, 10 divided by 2 is 5 times 1I plus 10 divided by 5 is 2 times 1I, and 10 divided by 5 is 2 times 2, and there's no fraction, it's 10 times 48, 480. So we put everything together, so 5I plus 2I plus 4 equals 480. So it looks like I have a like term here. And I'm going to bring positive 4 to the other side. So it's like 480 minus 4, which is 476. And now I'm going to divide both sides by whatever it's in front of I. 7. I is equal to 68. So what does that mean? Well, my first integer is 68, and my second integer is going to be 68 plus 2, coming from here, which is 70. And that's how you finish the question. And now we are going to work on word problems. Okay. Now, when we are working on a word problem, the questions are actually coming from a worksheet number 3. Okay. So let's take a look at worksheet number 3 to find out what the let statements are and the equation. So if I look at worksheet number 3 at the bottom, okay, so let's start with number 3, okay. So Omega just got her pilot's license and wants to rent a plane. The Platinum Plane Company charges $180 plus $92 per hour, and the Plastic Company charges $250 plus $78 per hour. So the question is, for what number of hours would the company charge the same amount? And letter B, what will be the charge for that number of hours? Okay, so it looks like, so I'm just going to write it here so I don't get confused with going up and down. So we are going to figure out, we need to have 2 equations, one for platinum and one for plastic. So let's do Platinum Company. Okay, so both are P. So let's do PL for platinum and plastic for this. So our let statement, it's asking for how many hours. So we have to say let X be the number of hours, right? Because it's per hour here. So therefore, and the cost, which we could say C as cost, is equal to 180, one-time fee, plus 92X, because it's $92 per hour. And then for plastic, the cost is equal to 250 plus 78X. Now, because we have 2 variables, how do we find it? Well, the question says it's going to charge the same amount. So that means the cost for the 2 is going to be exactly the same. So therefore, we equate it. So it's going to be 180 plus 92X. The cost is same as 250 plus 78X. And then you solve for X, which is the number of hours. So the hardest part about word problem is to get the equation, but the solving an equation, it's very easy because we've been practicing that. Okay, so I'm going to help you how to do a let statement for this page. So let's take a look at number 4. The launch site for Trigon Balloon Co. is 250 feet above sea level. A hot air balloon is launched from a site and begins to rise at a rate of 110 feet per minute. At the same time, another balloon, 2,200 feet above the sea, descends at a rate of 150 feet per minute. So the question is, how long will it until the balloons are at the same elevation? So they're asking how long. So our let statement will be let X be the time in minutes. So let's do the so we're going to separate it into 2 balloon company here. So the hot air balloon, it looks like it's rising. So that means it's going to be 250 plus, it's going up by 110 per minute. Okay, and the second balloon at the same time, it's at 2,200, but it's descending, so it's going down. So it's going to be minus 150x. And in order to solve for x, we need to equate it because they are at the same elevation. So you can solve by doing 250 plus 110x equals 2200 minus 150x. And you will solve for how long it takes. Okay. Now, what about, let's take a look at number 6. So Trendy T-shirts has decided to manufacture a new design. It will cost $400 plus $3 per t-shirt, and it needs to spend $5,000 on advertising. And the shirts will sell them for $12 each. So they're asking, how many shirts must be sold to break even? So break even means that you're not earning or you're not losing. So what that means is that total cost is going to equal to how much you earn from the sales. So we could say let X be the number of t-shirts. So let's figure out the total cost. So it looks like I need to spend $5,000 on advertising, plus it's gonna cost $400, right? One-time fee, plus $3 per t-shirt, 3x. On the other hand, the earnings that I'm going to make is going to be $12 per x, the number of t-shirt. So in order to break even, my cost must equal my earnings, my sales. So I will equate them. So it's going to be 5,000 plus 400 plus 3x is equal to 12x. And you're solving for x here. And now, lastly, number 7. So Romeo and Juliet first saw each other when they were 270 feet apart. Romeo began running towards Juliet at a rate of 16 feet per second. At the same moment, Juliet began running towards Romeo at a rate of 14 feet per second. The question is, how many seconds after they started running will they meet? So we could say let t be the time or the seconds that Romeo and Juliet started running at the same time. Okay. So we have to figure out the distance for Romeo and for Juliet. So for Romeo, it looks like it ran 270 feet apart. So that means, and Romeo was running towards 16. So it's 16 times time at a rate, right? Because it's 16 feet per second. So 16 t for Romeo. And for Juliet, it's 14 times t. And this will add up to 270. 16t plus 14t equals 270. The reason why it's equal to the distance, remember speed is distance over time. And distance, if I were to rearrange, distance is equal to speed times t. So in this case, we're given the speed and we're given the time. Speed and time. So if I do st for Romeo and st for Juliet, I get a total distance, which is 270. Okay, and then after that, you will solve for t.